Up Aquarion Logos, Episode 2, Shine Light of Thought, which is a kind of a strange title, but Aquarion's not really known for its titles. And so we jump back with Akira, being somewhat welcome to the team. The leader of the group, I forgot her name, kind of is trying to interrogate him, but he escapes somehow. He gets, the handcuffs off, opens the door without her even getting near the door, which tells me this character probably has a unlocking power because Aquarion Evolved did that last season where they had each character had a superpower. Like one character could make holes in the ground, other character could fill those holes up with dirt, uh, and you had like a main character who can fly. So each character kind of had a different power in that series. So I think this series is kind of doing the same thing, but we'll see. I'm not sure how many characters actually have abilities. I know the main girl we met last week. I don't have her name written down, but she also has kind of power. Maybe she could hear thoughts or project thoughts to someone. I don't know. It's just very weird. But anyway, she kind of goes over the whole spiel of what this group is. But before that, we have Mia, which is the other girl that I guess has orange hair and white hair. She's actually not on the main team. She's actually an enemy, technically, if you consider her a quote unquote bad guy. She's also a follower of the guy named Shogun, which is the leader of this other team that is making monsters basically. And I guess he's like this, maybe like a cult leader. He's from another world, I guess, the Logos world. And I guess we had Mia and another guy. Kind of, I guess they're brainwashed by him. So it almost tells me that, they have Aquarian units too. So maybe, Shogun later on will have his own Aquarion unit fight the other one. Because this season is only doing two machines combined to make one robot, which is still disappointing because the fun of the first two seasons was the whole idea of three people and three machines coming together as three of them can fight as one, which is always cool. But this one's only just doing two palettes, sort of like maybe Pacific Rim style or Buddy Complex if you watch that, or there's a few other shows that have done that. I think Farvener's done it too with two pilots in one machine. But yeah, so she just believes everything that Shogun says, and everything's Shogun this, Shogun that. Akira kind of makes a joke about that she's kind of being brainwashed. She's like, you're just a puppet, and he's just controlling you. So, she's starting to realize that maybe he might be right. But so yeah, she's kind of aggravated that she's being captured and kind of held in the jail cell, and again, she's technically again a bad guy, sort of. But I think she's gonna change. We also learned that our hero team is called Diva. That's the name of the organization, the secret one, and the monsters they fight are basically monsters born from words or monsters that eat words, which they kind of gave a dumb abbreviation to, which MJBK, which at Japanese probably sounds better, but just hearing that sounds kind of ridiculous. But again, I guess it got abbreviated. I don't know why. They could have just called it something else. Like a Precure thing where they just name it like a Nakama thingy, or they just name it something off the wall that sounds ridiculous, but it's an enemy classification, which would be better than what they have here. I don't know why they can't just call them Word Monster or something, or whatever. But yeah, so those are the creatures they're fighting, and the girl explained that they altered the world. Obviously, we've seen it last week when they did the word, they twisted the word twist, basically, like I said, and the area got twisted around. Even like electrical poles and things like that got twisted, and like subway car or tracks got twisted. So yeah, they can alter the world with the word they choose. And we also learned that the big boss of the leader of the enemy team is also in the real world. He's also the leader, CEO of a social media group or social group. So I'll think Facebook. But they can't go after him, even knowing that he's in the real world, because I guess he can make monsters whenever. So I guess they can't really just arrest him, knowing that he's creating these monsters. That, and maybe the government doesn't really believe the monsters, and I think Diva might be a secret government group that nobody knows about. So obviously, because the Aquarion doesn't really enter the real world, it enters another dimension where the monster forms. So we don't get any of that. We won't be seeing any of that with the Aquarion fighting in the city. Maybe later on, I can see them doing that, but not now. But so yeah, so they can't fight him or arrest him in the real world because of that. But also the power that they use is called verbalism, is a ability, I guess, which is kind of ridiculous. But I guess if you're using words, maybe this has to be how it has to go. So yeah, but Kira, I guess, apparently has high verbalism ability or something dumb like that, which is again kind of silly. But Aquarion isn't really a series to be taken serious. I've learned this quite fast. And so this week's the word that he chose Shogun messed with was illness. So everybody started getting sick, or if you had, you're sneezing or coughing, it got worse. So that was kind of a weird thing. And Mia, before all that, did break out of her jail cell, did sneak out by pretending to be, hurt, and the guards kind of walked in there and she knocked him out. But she was planning to escape, but then she sees all these cleaning ladies kind of cleaning around her Aquarion unit, and she assumes that they're the guard, they're the elite guard, they're protecting, me from escaping. And she tries to get there, but they kind of rope her into like helping, so she ends up cleaning with all these, I guess, maids or worker cleaners, whatever you call them. And she gets sucked into that, which I thought was pretty funny. How she just assumed that these maids or whatever are like the elite guard. That they must be like tough soldiers if they, they must be guarding the place. But yeah, they're not, and she just is easily, I guess. I think she's gullible, I guess the word would be. She's just so easy to trick. But yeah, so she has to kind of help fight this new monster with Akira, even though it's more like by force. Like it seems to be like a forceful thing that he's making her do it, making her fuse and combine, which is kind of weird. But I see them getting along eventually. But for now, they just don't like each other. And to defeat the monster of the illness, they use the power of light, which I guess the illness was considered like a dark creature, a monster, like a big cloud of smoke. So they use the power of light, and it, I guess, blinds the creature and destroys it. So they defeat the monster once again with light. And at that, they kind of break formation real fast, or unfuse, and Mia tries to escape. But then the portal she's gonna go through closes, and Shogun tells her, "You can't come back home right now. Stay close to Akira and learn more about him." So I think next week that's what they'll be playing a lot with, Akira and Mia kind of sticking together. Maybe her following him around, but also she's kind of a prisoner technically, so I don't know if she's gonna be welcomed on the team right away, and only maybe brought out for missions only. So we'll see. But yeah, for now, it was interesting. But extras from the episode, there was a bit where they're talking about, they're making fun of one of the pilots for being the milkman because he loves milk, and they had a shot of like Aquarion Evol like merchandise. They had a couple figures, the stuffed frog from this second season, a bunch of pictures from the anime. So it's almost like another reality, which this is what the series is, another reality of Aquarion. So that's why it's so different from the first two. Almost like they're treating Evol as like maybe not canon, like it's maybe like an anime inside of an anime. So a little bit of Inception there, but yeah, I think it was maybe a callback to the other series, which is kind of cool. And then last thing I mentioned was it was cool to see that the world was still messed up from the last episode. So not a magic, fix where everything just goes back to normal. It was kind of interesting seeing that how it still affects the world, but that might be just a minor thing. Maybe they just didn't want to, maybe they didn't want to animate the building fixing itself or whatever. But so yeah, that was a fun episode. But see you guys next week for episode 3, and yep, see you guys later.